Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to Swan Song. So I took a couple of days break after the last episode. One is that because I started playing PSO2. I don't know if people know what that is. It's Phantasy Star Online 2. I haven't been playing any kind of MMOs for a few years, but coming back to it was actually a lot of fun. I don't know. Maybe I'll play it a bit more. I am liking the fact that I'm playing visual novels though, and I don't really want to cut back the amount of time I play visual novels for it. But we'll see. So yeah, the last time I stopped at a cliffhanger, we were meeting new people. They were giving me bad vibes, I know. It was a cliffhanger, but let's continue. I already know I'm not gonna like this. He pulls on his stubble as he speaks. He must be in his 30s. He must be the person we talked to through the window just now. The clothes I can see under his coat show his occupation. His uniform confirms his story when he introduces himself as a police officer. His hat is barely on his head. Kuwagata-san asks, and he tilts his head in wonder.
どうなってるって言われてもな。まあ、見ての通りだ。
いや、いっぱい人が死んじゃったんですか？
そりゃたくさん亡くなったよ。当たり前じゃねえか。
そうですね。
Kuwagata-san scratches his head and shuts his mouth.
いいですか？
I decide to ask.
今警察は組織として動いてるんですか？
え？
こんな事態になって組織としての活動はしているんですか？
いや、今んところ何もないね。非常時に困ったもんだが、警察署も潰れちまったみたいだし、連絡もないし、それぞれ任意の活動してるとこだな。何もできなくて心苦しいね。
Okay, this guy seems to be at least honest though. I thought he'd be a lot more deceptive.
だから他の避難者から離れてこんなところに住んでるんですか？
まあ、そんなとこだね。まったくかなわんよ。立ち話もなんだから、中でお茶でも飲んでく。
もう疲れちゃったよ。そうしよう。
Okay, this I don't know though.
いや、ちょっと待ってください。
Kawase-san turns around in discontent. Tanamura-san is looking at me as well. I want to signal Tanamura-san at the very least, but I can't let the person in front of me know. There's something that's bugging me.
つかさ、もう中で話せばいいじゃん。
I ignore Kawase-san and continue.
任意の活動って具体的にどんなことしてるんですか？
やけに突っかかってくるね。
すみません。この状況に警察の方がどういった活動をされているのかと思って。だって公共機関の人こそ一番に活動をすべき時じゃないですか。
まあ、そうだね。ただ、私たちは公共機関の人間ではあるけれど、今は被災者の一人でもあるから、そんなに完全には行動できんのだよね。指示も応援もないわけだし、その辺分かってもらえるかな。
分かってます。でも例えば巡回して不審者を取り締まったりとかはしてないんですか？
ケイラはできうる範囲でしているがね。まあこんな状況だから、例えば民家から物を取り出してるなんて言っても止めにくいな。注意くらいだよ。
Why would you stop someone from taking things out of people's homes?
注意だけですか？
ああ、何か？
例えば不審者を見つけて連行したりとかはしていないんですよね。
ああ、まあそんな施設もないからね。
じゃあここに住んでるのはあなたたちだけなんですよね。不審者をかくまったりもしていない。
ああ。
そうだね。 さっきからあんた何を言いたいの？
The man looks to be on guard.
おかしいと思うんです。さっきこの建物の中から何か女の人が騒ぐのを聞いたんですけれど、だから僕はてっきりそういったことをやられているのかと考えたんですが、しかしここにはあなたたちしかいないっておっしゃいましたよね。
Of course, women always get involved, dude.
それ本当？
Kuwagata-san asks,
ええ、本当です。小さい声でしたけど聞き間違いじゃありません。なんで隠す必要があるんですか？
he wipes his face with his hand. Then, of course, he laughs out loud.
そりゃうちの女房だよ。女房。飯作りに来てんだ。さっきは喧嘩してね、大声出したんだ。こんなんだからストレス溜まっちまってさ。
でもさっきは。
あんたここで暮らしてるって聞いただろ。女房はここに住んじゃいないよ。別のところに子供と住んでて飯だけ作りに来てるんだ。隠してたわけじゃないさ。
それは苦しい理由ですね。
I agree. Who would believe you after that?
まあ言ったな。こう僕がそんな疑いかけられるなんて。ほら、くだらねえこと言ってねえで中に入りなよ。
If they do,
他の連中
oh
が
sorry
来る
about that. Oh sorry.
それはできません。
I was gonna say if they do show some like rape scenes or whatever, I think I'm gonna skip it because I think we're kind of done with rape scenes after what happened on Subahibi. Like I'm gonna read it, but I don't think most people would want to read it. It's definitely uncomfortable. I don't mind though. Like I kind of have I kind of have nerves of steel. Well, it's just like I know how to differentiate fiction to reality, but most people can still feel something. I do feel something in Subahibi, but that was mostly because of what the game was trying to tell you. I took the game a bit too seriously. It started becoming, you know, fact and fiction was kind of hard to distinguish there.
おいおい、困ったな。
The police officer smiles bitterly and scratches his head.
じゃあ
I retreat and take a glance at Aroe. Kawase-san is firmly holding onto her hand.
ここからその奥さんと会話してみてくださいよ。本当に奥さんがいるならできるでしょ。
ああ、わかったわかった。どうしてこう疑い深いのかね。疑うのは警察の仕事だってのに。
He turns around and faces the building. He looks up, but suddenly turns around and thrusts his right arm at me. In his hand is a gun. I see his finger pull the trigger and I hear a loud bang. I close my eyes. I hear someone's high-pitched scream. I'm shot, but there's no pain. Is my sense of pain numbed by the extreme tension? But I smell the burning gunpowder. It's strange.
いきなりってそりゃひでえなおまわりさん。
I hear Tanomura-san's calm voice and open my eyes. The officer is on the ground holding his hand, pointing a long rod-like object at his face. Tanomura-san is standing with a frown. Man, he's such a badass, dude.
つかちゃん、怪我なかったかい？
I return to my senses and check my body.
大丈夫です。
そりゃよかった。危機一髪だったよ。まったく物騒なことするもんだ。
Tanomura-san is holding the Japanese sword, still in its sheath. The man reaches out for the gun in front of him. The sword moves quickly like a wild beast and strikes the back of his head. And this guy doesn't even have a sprite. Or, you know, unknown police officer. The man's hand did not reach the gun. He's on his side, not moving at all.
死んだの？
Kawase-san screams. Tanomura-san touches the man on the ground.
死んではいないみたい。まあ後遺症とかあるかもしれないけどさ。でもだからってこんな時に手加減とかできないしな。
I don't think you should have held back at all. He calmly starts searching the man's body.
あっちゃー、本当の警察官なのかよ。万一と思ったんだけどね。世も末だね。
Tanomura-san is staring at the policeman's handbook that was in the man's chest pocket.
なんだかさっきの動き妙に手慣れてましたね。タノさんってもしかして怖い人なんですか？
Kuwagata-san asks timidly.
違うって。うちが剣道の道場だから小さい時から仕込まれただけだよ。
You know, to be honest, whether he was a scary person or not, it didn't change the fact that he saved Tsukasa's life. If I were Tsukasa, all my doubts about him before, I think I probably would let go because he actually saved my life, you know? I had doubts about him, but fuck it, I'm gonna trust this guy. Tanomura-san smiles and puts the sword back in the bag.
これ重い。
Kawase-san is holding the pistol on the ground. Tanomura-san takes it and
危ないよ。
sticks it in his belt with a serious face. Kawase-san looks angry, but she doesn't say anything. We tie up the unconscious man and enter the building. Judging from the exchange earlier, that should be a woman inside. Oh gosh, if there is actually like a girl or something that's naked. Here's the thing, I don't know how to censor the CG. And that's gonna be hard. I might have to put up something to censor it up. Like censor the whole thing, you know? But you guys can still hear my voice, hopefully. But we'll see. But I find it ominous that my ears can't pick up any presence. We leave the women in the hallway and decide to search through the floor with me, Tanomura-san and Kuwagata-san. It's silent even when we get to the second floor, and our footsteps echo through the hallway. One room has traces of a few people living in it. While there's nothing in another room, Tanomura-san opens the door to yet another room. But he takes one look inside and quickly shuts the door. Tanomura-san turns around with a frown.
ダメだった。もう外に出よ
He shakes his head. Okay, thank God. Thank you, Tanomura. This guy is so trustworthy.
どうなってたんですか？
Kuwagata-san looks pale.
う。手遅れだった。女の人は一人じゃなかったんだね。ひどいことするもんだよ。
僕も一応確認を。
Kuwagata-san reaches out for the doorknob with a trembling hand.
見ない方がいいと思うよ。見たっていいことなんか何もない。
With a rare display of annoyance, Tanomura-san lights a cigarette.
でもせめて遺留品だけでも確保しないと。
そんなの無駄だよ。
But Kuwagata-san does not listen. Oh my god, this guy. He was being so kind, dude. Should have listened.
開けます。
I mean, if I were in Kuwagata's shoes, I definitely would see it too. Like, to burn the knowledge of what's going on right now to my retinas. And to get rid of all my doubts about, you know, my reservations about when I'm in danger, I should be able to kill someone when the situation needs it to be. Still. The scene inside the room comes into our view. I'm probably gonna censor this scene. Or the CG at least.
なんかさっき向こうですごい声が聞こえたけど。
Sasaki-san says as soon as we get back, we're silent. Okay, thank God. I guess this game is kind enough to not show you the CGs and only tell you about what happened. Like Tsubahibi. Tsubahibi, you delve into the details so much, it gets really uncomfortable. Kuwagata-san is in no condition to speak.
どうしたのよ。
Kawase-san looks puzzled.
どうしたもこうしたも。
Kuwagata-san screams.
どうしてあんなことができるんですか？狂ってますよ。
本当にどうしたの？
Kawase-san asks me, looking worried about how Kuwagata-san is acting. I briefly tell her what we saw. The woman was dead in the room. She was probably killed. She had no personal belongings, and there were the corpses of other people in the same room. I don't think there were that many, but they were in a state where we could not accurately count them.
悪魔の降霊儀式でもやるつもりだったのかな。
Tanomura-san ponders with a cracking voice. I think he was just like, they don't show it, but I could kind of guess that he probably had sex with them until they died. Probably didn't even give them food. Because, you know, food is a very valuable source. It seems she can't help but do something, as Kawase-san tries to run off to the room. No. Tanomura-san grabs her arm.
話してよ。確かめなくちゃいけないんだよ。
Oh, God. I mean, I guess if she wants to, I'm not kind like Tanomura. When someone wants to do what they want to do, I don't stop them. Kawase-san looks angry.
やめときなって。
Like, this act right here is an act of kindness.
あれは見てやっちゃかわいそうだよ。
ひばり、やめとこうよ。
Sasaki-san chides her, but her face is pale as well.
ねえ司君、
Kuwagata-san looks serious.
何ですか？
これは犯罪ですよね。これからどうするんですか？犯罪としたらどこの誰が彼を罰するんですか？捕まえるはずの警察がこんな状態で、まさかこのまま許されるということはありえないですよね。
This guy reminds me a lot of, Keisuke. I don't know if you guys know about Devil Survivor, but in that game, there's a guy who's timid, just like this guy. And he's like, it's a post-apocalyptic world, right? But with demons and stuff. He also has a strong sense of justice. Kuwagata-san's lips start to tremble. I can't answer him.
ねえ、もしかしたら僕たちが何かしないといけないんじゃないですか？普段だったらこれは死刑ですよね。死刑になりますよね、きっと。じゃあ
Kuwagata-san clenches his fists. Nobody says anything. A tense silence surrounds us. Aroe is scratching at a crack in the wall and putting the small pieces that fall off into her pocket. A piece falls to the ground and makes a small sound. Aroe tries to pick it up and loses her balance, so I catch her in my arms. Kawase-san pulls Aroe's hand and makes her sit next to her. Tanomura-san leaves the spot quietly and watches the outside from between the cracks as he smokes. Kuwagata-san is pondering while biting his lip. Sasaki-san just has a gloomy face, and I don't know what she's actually thinking. I don't have anything to say in the situation. Then, Tanomura-san speaks out while looking outside.
仲間が来たみたいだよ。
Oh, fuck.
仲間？
警察の制服を着てる。3人かな。ちょっとまずいね。
Tanomura-san clucks his tongue and puts out his cigarette.
どうすんのよ。
こうなれば戦いましょうよ。
Don't say something so careless, okay? Can you fight, Kuwagata? Please don't say that.
それは無理だよ。相手はきっと拳銃を持ってる。やられちゃうよ。俺たちが今できることは。
Before he can finish, we hear the men talking below. They found a man we knocked unconscious near the entrance. Tanomura-san puts a finger over his mouth and tells us to be quiet. And when we start moving... Okay, I may be wrong. I thought the first thing that was gonna happen was them maybe being raped and being used as sexual outlets and not being fed, right? That's what I thought, but maybe what happened was they're doing cannibalism. I probably butchered that pronunciation, but you know what I'm talking about. Are they like cutting them up as meat so they can eat them? I don't know. Oh my god, Aroe. Suddenly being pulled, Aroe lets out a yell. Sasaki-san quickly covers her mouth, but it's too late. Oh my god. They've noticed this. The officers start to whisper outside.
まずいな。
Tanomura-san murmurs, we can't go down if they block off the entrance. But they've noticed us already. I don't know what they intend to do, but they surely wouldn't let us live if they find out that we've seen that room. Oh, this music though. There's not much time to think. They'll come upstairs any time now. We all run into a nearby room and shut the door. The room must have been used as an office before. The desks are overturned. Computers and documents are scattered across the floor.
どうします？
In response to Kuwagata-san, Tanomura-san looks at the window. The window is broken, allowing the snow to blow inside.
ここは2階だったね。下は柔らかい雪が積もってる。いけるね。
He must be telling us to jump.
無理よ。だってアロエとかどうすんのよ。
Kawase-san objects.
でもそれしかないよ。
I hear them coming up the stairs.
早く。降りる前に入ってこられたらおしまいだ。
Tanomura-san whispers. The men seem to have gone into another room. I hear them opening the door. There are several rooms away from us. We don't have much time left. The door is locked, but it doesn't really matter since the door looks so cheap that it could easily be kicked down.
俺は最後でいい。早く逃げて。
We run to the window. There's about 3 meters to the ground. Even though there's snow, there must be concrete rubble underneath. We may get injured depending on how we land. I look around. I don't see anyone waiting for us outside. The men must have all come upstairs. I confirm that, walk past Kuwagata-san, who is hesitating, and jump. I fall as I land, but I don't hurt myself. I look up to see that everyone's watching me. I nod to them. Sasaki-san jumps next. Even though she's wearing boots with heels, she lands better than I did, but she still stumbles, so I support her. The ones upstairs seem to be undecided about who's jumping next. Mouthing the words, I tell them to get Aroe down. Kuwagata-san and Kawase-san nods and pushes Aroe up to the window. Aroe emotionlessly lets them do it. She may end up being pushed off, but Aroe jumps down herself. She falls on the ground and starts rolling in the snow. It was so sudden that I couldn't react. I pull her up and see that she's grinning broadly. I look at her body, but I don't see any injuries. Her shins are grazed and red, but it doesn't seem to be a problem. But it shouldn't be a problem, sorry. Kuwagata-san and Kawase-san are looking down with worried eyes. I raise my thumb to them. And when Kawase-san jumps next, a gunshot goes off. Oh my god.
くそ、見つかった。
Tanomura-san comes up to the window. Man, they just throwing us with all these crazy BGM. It's pretty nice.
みんなどいて。
We quickly make space in the landing area. After seeing that, Tanomura-san raises his pistol and turns around. I hear a bang and I see a flash. Tanomura-san has fired back into the room. Tanomura-san turns around right away and climbs onto the window.
行くよ、タクちゃん。
Oh, sorry. Tanomura-san pushes Kuwagata-san, who is leaning out, and jumps down with him. They seem to tangle as they fall, but Tanomura-san lands nicely while Kuwagata-san falls miserably.
くそ逃がすな
I hear voices from the room and feel pressed. I take Kuwagata-san's hand and help him up when I see a figure at the window. Kawase-san turns pale and screams. Aroe repeats after her. Aroe, oh my god. I guess we can't blame her though. We know how she's like. Tanomura-san aims a pistol at the man holding the gun out the window and mercilessly pulls the trigger. Kawase-san ducks, but the firing hammer only makes an empty metallic click.
あら、弾切れだ。
Tanomura-san clucks his tongue.
これ武器になりませんか？
Kuwagata-san is holding out some rocks. Yes! Thank God I had those rocks, dude. Thank you, Kuwagata. I take one and throw it at the man's face. The rock hits the man holding the gun in his temple. He screams and retreats. We start running while the men are stirred up. Kuwagata-san hands down the rock to Tanomura-san, and he hits a guy with more force than I did.
本当にこんなのが役に立つとは思わなかった。
Oh my god, I didn't regret that at all. Thank you, rocks. Kuwagata-san makes a wry smile. But the rocks delay the men only for a brief moment, and they come jumping down after us. You know I'm gonna have to do that bad ending, right? I don't know if I want to show the bad ending to YouTube or not. I don't know. But I am curious for myself what's gonna happen. Wow, the music is suddenly so loud. Holy shit. Let me lower it. There we go. The officers fire as they chase after us, but fortunately nobody has been hit yet.
もうやだ
There we go. It's so loud suddenly. Kawase-san screams. She's out of breath and her face is red. I can't run really well on the snowy road and it's frustrating. But the same goes for the officers. If I have to stay to clear disadvantage, it's the difference in our endurance. We even have a woman in heels. The ones running away should have the advantage since we can choose where to go, but the distance between us is shrinking. I think there will be a chance if they're out of bullets by the time they catch up to us, but we can't wait until then. They'll probably hit us before their bullets run out. I try to come up with a plan, but I can't think well. Yo, Tsukasa, you look fucked, dude. Everyone's running with a desperate look. The biggest concern, Aroe, is being led by Kuwagata-san. He's stronger than I thought. I can't pull Aroe like that with my strength. It must be hard for Sasaki-san to run in heeled boots. She has trouble running, and she gets help from me and Tanomura-san from time to time. Kawase-san can run fast, but she must not have the endurance. I can see that she's getting tired. Everyone looks desperate with fear. I see in my head the scene from that room. That may be what's waiting for us if we make the wrong move now. The road is turning slightly to the left, but I see another road going to the right.
スカちゃん、あの分かれ道で分散しよ
Tanomura-san, who is running beside me, says this.
しかし、
う。迷ってる場合じゃないよ。相手3人しかいないんだから有効でしょ。
わかりました。
スカちゃんは右、俺は左ね。
了解です。
We decide between the two of us, but as things are going now, everyone will follow the main road. But we don't have time to discuss this with others. Sasaki-san looks the most exhausted. I approach her, wrap her hand and turn into the right-hand road. She opens her eyes wide in surprise.
ついてきてください。
I speak quickly and tell her. I can feel the pursuer's hesitation due to our having split up. I take Sasaki-san's hand and run. The road is wet asphalt. It's much easier to run on than the snowy roads, and we run fast. I hear our shoes splashing the water and the sound of our breathing. I turn around and see that Sasaki-san is pale and clutching her chest.
頑張ってください。
Sasaki-san nods back. We can't stop just because we can't see our pursuers anymore. It's true that there's no indication that we're far enough away from them, but fear is what's really driving us to keep running. It feels more lonely than I thought to be away from all the people who I've been with ever since the earthquake. We jump steps and run in between the rubble until at last, Sasaki-san crumbles at the knees. I catch her in my arms before she falls into the water and see that she's out of breath.
大丈夫です。
Okay, I think the music is okay again. Let me bump it up. She pulls away from me and tries to walk, but she's out of energy and drops to her knees. Her coat instantly starts to darken as the fabric is soaked through. She starts to fall over head first, so I quickly support her. I turn and look behind me. I don't see them coming after us. I strain my ears. I don't hear anyone's footsteps. I stay still for a while, but nothing changes. I expel the air from my lungs.
もう振り切ったみたいです。
I help Sasaki-san get up. Her head is shaking powerlessly. She's unconscious. Oh my god. Her body is limp like a puppet's. Her breathing is shallow and her face is wet. Is this snow or her sweat? I carry her on my back and start walking. Right when the papers I gather have almost run out, the wet lumber finally catches fire. The wood crackles and releases white smoke. The smoke rises up to the cracked ceiling that's about to collapse and escapes out through a hole. The sky is getting dark. I don't know what time it is, but it's too early for the sun to set. But it's always cloudy, so there's no light once the sun starts setting. Sasaki-san is still unconscious. I'm starting to get worried. The light from the fire is too red to see the color of her face. I take off her wet boots and socks. Her white legs appear. I think for a bit and take off her skirt as well. I wring it and lay it in front of the fire. Sasaki-san's lower half is only covered by her underwear, and her long legs are too tempting. I put a coat over her. Gentleman Tsukasa. This place must have been a garage. The walls are bare concrete and I see spare tires and toolboxes. The house has been destroyed and the door leading to it has been crushed. The garage door is down and we entered here through a hole. I find a seat cover made of fake fur inside the boxes on the side. It's covered in dust and smells like car wax. I beat the dust off it and lay it beneath Sasaki-san's body. I take off my shoes, socks, and gloves, then place them in front of the fire along with Sasaki-san's clothes. They eventually start to dry and I flip them over as I hear something behind me. I turn around to see that Sasaki-san has raised her body and is placing a canister to her mouth. She presses on it, then puts it in her pocket.
それは何ですか？
喘息ですよ。
Oh gosh.
ああ、喘息だったんですか。
I ask. She vaguely nods.
ここは
Her eyes look around the room, stare at the fire, and stop at her skirt in front of it. She lets out a cry of surprise as she looks down at herself. She lifts up the coat, covering her just a bit. In surprise, she wraps her arms around her knees and pulls them into the coat. Her cheeks are red.
すみません。濡れていたものですから。
I bow.
大丈夫です。気にしないでください。
何もしてないですよ。
そんな心配していませんよ。それより、尼子さんは私をどうやってここに運んできたんですか？
背負いました。
重かったですか？
はい、重かったです。
Good job, Skasa.
正直なんですね。でも、無茶しないでくださいよ。追いつかれたらどうするんですか？
ちゃんと振り切ったのを確認してから背負いましたから大丈夫ですよ。それに置いていくなんてできると思うんですか？
でも、
あと喘息なら前もって言っておいてくれればすぐに処置できたのに。
だって言い出す機会がなくって。
困ります。そういうことは何でも言ってください。
ごめんなさい。
Sasaki-san hangs her head and looks up at me.
他に隠してることはありませんか？
何にもありませんよ。
それならいいですけど、まったくこのまま死んでしまうのかと思いましたよ。
私もです。
Sasaki-san smiles and I sigh.
まあ、何にせよ、お互い助かってよかったですね。
Sasaki-san smooths it over. Smooths it over. Such a weird word.
ええ、そうですね。
Is that how you spell smooths? What the fuck? I don't know, maybe. I feel like that's such a weird word. I reply as I stare at the fire. The flame is swaying and calms me down. The fire is crackling.
じゃあ、他の人たちは？
わからないです。銃声は聞こえませんでしたが。
そうですか。
そうです。
The fire is crackling.
寒くないですか？
Sasaki-san tries to break the silence.
火があるから暖かいです。
I answer without turning to her. The fire is crackling. Oh my god, Tsukasa, stop thinking that. It's so, you know, it's awkward.
私は少し寒いです。
一緒に火に当たったらどうですか？
The fire is crackling. Stop! Tsukasa, stop thinking this shit.
いいんですか？
ええ。
Sasaki-san moves next to me. She hugs her white knees, stretches her sweater, and pulls her knees under it. The fire is crackling. Stop it, Tsukasa! My god, what is wrong with you?
子供の時、よくこういうことしませんでした？
しませんでした。それよりセーターが伸びますよ。僕のコート使えばいいのに。
それは悪いですよ。
The fire is crackling. Stop! Why would you do this to me? My eyelids are starting to get heavy as I watch the fire.
無理せず、眠ったらいいですよ。
でも
なんなら、私に寄りかかってもいいですよ。
The fire is crackling.
もっと寄りかかっても大丈夫ですよ。
I guess he's just like really, I don't know, lightheaded? That's all in his mind right now. Holy shit.
それは
背負ってくれたお返しです。
The fire is crackling. I probably lost consciousness for only a bit. When I wake up, I feel something soft under my head. It takes me some time to realize that it's Sasaki-san's thighs. Oh gosh. I notice a faint sweet smell. Her soft fingers are gently brushing my hair. Her knees are in front of my eyes. I reach out and touch them. They're hot from the fire.
起きてたんですか？
I nod back at her words. I look up and see that Sasaki-san's face is right in front of me. She's looking at me with a kind expression. I raise my upper body. Sasaki-san's eyes are empty of will, and she sits there unresistingly and waits for my next move. Her long legs look defenseless, as if being swallowed in by her defenseless posture. I reach out to Sasaki-san's face and touch her chin. She closes her eyes. What the fuck? Why is there suddenly a sex scene here? I mean, I hope not, but... Okay, thank God. I was gonna say, I hope they don't show their naked sprites or something after that. So, it was just a typical normal sex scene. I probably will just edit that out. But, during that sex scene, Tsukasa was thinking, the fire is crackling, and that made me laugh a lot. What a stupid guy. I don't know, that sex scene felt kind of forced. I mean, I guess they feel like they're gonna die, so they want to have sex or something. You know, the suspension bridge effect or something, right? I understand that, but I feel like it's a bit too soon, you know? We put our clothes back on and lie next to each other on the fake fur. The wet wood in the fire has finally begun to burn. The fire grows larger than I expected, but it's warm now.
なんだかまだドキドキします。夢みたいです。
Sasaki-san smiles as she stares at the ceiling.
そうなんですか？
そうですよ。本当どうしてこんなことになっちゃったんでしょう。
Not gonna lie, that was a pretty hot scene though. But, you know, it just feels awkward during this kind of story.
すいません。
なんで謝るんですか？謝らないでくださいよ。
She pouts as if she's unhappy about what I said.
そうですね。
She's totally right.
そんなの嫌ですよ。
すみません。
じゃあお詫びとしてちょっと頼み事を聞いてもらいます。
Sasaki-san turns her face to me.
何ですか？
さっきのこと嘘みたいでどうも信じられないんです。
そうなんですか？
そうなんです。だからちょっといいですか？
She takes my arm and wraps it around her.
このまま抱きしめてみてください。
I embrace her like she told me to.
それから
She stares into my eyes and points to her lips. I'm confused. So she taps her lips again. I reach out and tap her lips like she's doing. Oh my god, Tsukasa, you fucking idiot.
違います。
Sasaki-san pretends to get angry. I figure out what she wants and kiss her. I kiss her for a while before I let go.
嬉しいです。
Her eyes are moist. What a weird development.
なんだかちょっと違和感があります。
Like, we don't know what the fuck the other group is doing and we just have sex, you know? Sasaki-san holds her crotch and smiles in embarrassment. She is walking awkwardly now that she mentions it.
ちょっと休みましょうか。
そうしてもらえますか？
She scratches her head, brushes snow off the top of some nearby concrete and sits down. She sighs.
ずっと曇ってて嫌ですね。
She looks up at the gray, cloudy sky. It seems like the clouds are getting thicker day by day, blocking the sunlight and keeping us from feeling like it's morning. The lack of light darkens the color of the snow, making it seem like the falling flakes are being shaved off from those gray clouds. Sasaki-san looks up at the clouds for a while.
私太陽が見たいです。
She mutters in disappointment. We return to the spot where we parted from Tanemura-san's group yesterday. There's no wind, and there's a lot of rubble around here, so there are many places to hide. The one to hear the first sound would have the advantage in this condition, and I'll probably find them first if it comes down to the sense of hearing. We don't sense anyone no matter how far we go, so maybe the police officers ran away to a different location. We eventually come to where we parked the raft, but our raft isn't there and our bags are there in its place. Interesting.
困りましたね。
I turn around to see that Sasaki-san's blushing and staring at me.
いいですか？
When I'm wondering what she's talking about, she puts her hand on my cheek and leans toward me. Huh? Right before our lips meet, we hear the water splash and she quickly moves away. The raft has appeared in the distance. All the people we parted with are on the raft safely. Nobody has noticed us yet though. Oh, but why would they get rid of the bags and stuff? That's weird. I walk to the waterside and wave. Tanamura-san notices me, makes a big smile while showing his white teeth, and waved back at me. Sasaki-san is blushing and hanging her head. How peculiar. As soon as Kawase-san steps on land, she loses her balance and clings to Kuwagata-san.
気持ち悪い。
The trip wasn't long enough, nor did the raft shake enough for seasickness to set in, but Kawase-san's really exhausted.
しっかりしてくださいよ。
Kuwagata-san looks pale as well.
ハロエはいつも通りだわね。
Kawase-san reproachfully looks at Aroe, who is slapping the water with her hand. From time to time, she opens her notebook and murmurs something.
緊張感と無縁で羨ましいことだわ。
やっと陸に着いたね。元気出していこうよ。
田野村さんはむしろいつもより元気みたいですね。
Sasaki-san says this.
とりあえず安心したからね。イカダの上じゃあんまり無防備でヒヤヒヤもんだったからさ。ここならまあなんとか。
Tanamura-san looks around at the scattered rubble.
それにやっと気兼ねなく一服できるし。
He laughs and scratches his head, but his left hand is moving awkwardly. I hadn't noticed, but the gunshot yesterday grazed Tanamura-san's arm. His jacket's torn and stained with blood. Tanamura-san has some cloth wrapped around it, and is acting like it's nothing. But I'm sure it's more than just a scratch, seeing how he's having trouble moving it.
柿崎病院に行きましょうか。
I make a proposal. I'm concerned about Tanamura-san's wound, and there's a high possibility that people are gathered at a hospital. And most importantly, Kakizaki Hospital is only a short distance away. When the building comes into sight, we feel the presence of many people, as expected.
大丈夫かな。
Kuwagata-san must be on guard because of what happened yesterday.
まあ大丈夫でしょ。
Tanamura-san smiles. There are several canopies made of plastic sheets inside the hospital premises. The hospital ward is mostly collapsed and ruined. Simple stoves made from fire burning in metal drums have been set up everywhere. There are beds lined up under the canopies, and wounded people are sleeping on them. Nurses and doctors in white clothing are busily walking in between the beds. I can also see young people carrying buckets of wood and ice.
なんだか忙しそうですね。
Sasaki-san seems a bit overwhelmed.
そりゃ怪我人がたくさんいるみたいだしな。それにしても人の活気を見るのは久しぶりだね。やっぱり人がいると安心するよ。
Tanamura-san starts talking to a guy who is carrying a box. He tells him our situation and asks him who we should go talk to. After grabbing the necessary information,
ちょっと俺ここの偉い人と話してくるから待っててね。
Tanamura-san walks off in the direction the man told him. He goes by himself, so we are left with nothing to do.
なんだかここでぼーっと立っているのも悪いみたいですね。
Sasaki-san murmurs while watching all the people at work. She's right. Everyone in the hospital is busily moving about, and we're the only ones standing around.
ねえ、あれ見てよ。
See, like, what I'm curious about right now is that if we didn't get the rock when we were Kuwagata, I wonder if there's like a branching route that's like not just a bad ending, but an ending where someone dies and the story just continues on. I don't know if the game is that big or if it's just gonna show you a bad ending. I'm pretty curious, but I don't know if I want to do it right now or if I should do all the, in my head anyway, bad endings at the end of the game after I'm done. I don't know. Kawase-san pulls Sasaki-san's sleeves and points. Her face is stiff. She's pointing at a blue plastic sheet spread on the ground with people lying on it in a line.
別に何も。
Kuwagata-san stops his words. At a glance, it just looks like wounded people are sleeping in a row. But I quickly realized the oddity of the scene. What's beneath them is a thin plastic sheet that does not block the chill of the snow. What's covering them is a thin blanket that won't block the cold. And nobody passing by them even looks at them. Oh. I approach them. Every one of them is deathly pale. Their eyes are vacant. And some of their mouths are open. Their mouths are dry. I don't even need to check. It's blatantly obvious for some of them.
これみんな亡くなってますね。
I stated this to reaffirm it. Sasaki-san, who is standing behind me, nods with a painful look. How many are there? Another plastic sheet is laid out over there too, with corpses lying on it as well. There's snow piled up on the bodies that are out from under the edges of the canopy. There's nothing covering their faces either.
なんかほったらかしですね。
Kuwagata-san is looking at an incense stick that has gone out and is stuck in the snow.
手が足りないんでしょう。
そんなのわかるけど、でもこんなのないですよ。
そうですね。じゃあ僕たちで埋葬するよう申し出てみましょうか。何もしないで立ってるというのも申し訳ないです。
That's a lot of people though. You sure you want to bury all of them?
でも
Kuwagata-san stops me as I start to walk.
もしかしたらこのままでいいのかな。だって遺族の断りもなくそんなことできないですよ。やっぱり確認してからじゃないと。
Are you sure they still have family members that are still alive?
そうかな。
It seems Kawase-san thinks differently.
遺族だってこんな冷凍マグロみたいに野ざらしにされてるよりもちゃんと埋めてもらった方が嬉しいだろうけどな。よくわからないけど。
冷凍マグロ。
Kuwagata-san repeats after her, looks at the corpses and turns pale. Aroe, who is squatting and staring at a corpse, slaps the man's face and grabs his hair. What the fuck, Aroe? Oh my god, this girl.
こら、アロエちゃん。
Sasaki-san pulls her away in surprise, and Aroe tumbles over. Oh my god, what are you doing? Aroe's hand is grabbing the young man's hair, so we hear the unpleasant sound of his hair being pulled out. What the fuck? Kuwagata-san's face stiffens and he covers his ears.
うげ。もう
Kawase-san frowns and mutters unpleasantly.
ダメ。
Sasaki-san opens Aroe's hand and brushes out the hair from in between her fingers.
深沢さん、深沢さん、深沢さん。
Aroe murmurs in a rhythm.
その人ってさ、
Kawase-san looks pale.
アロエの手帳に写真載ってた人だよ。私見たことあるもの。
Okay, that makes sense, I guess, but still. I take Aroe's notebook and flip through it. Near the end of it is a photo of the man who is in front of me. The name Fukasawa-san is written below the photo.
確かにこの人ですね。免許にも深沢って書いてあります。
Kuwagata-san speaks as he stares at the corpse's chest. His license showing his identity is placed there.
アロエちゃんはどうして平気なのかな。悲しくないのかな。なんか。
He stops.
クワガタ？
いや、大丈夫です。そうですね。やっぱり埋めてあげましょう。
Kuwagata-san has a grave expression.
おーい、近くに避難者が集まってる場所あるって。
Tanamura-san comes back with that. He looks at us and...
どったの？なんかみんな暗いけど。
He tilts his head in wonder.
つうか、ここで明るいのはバカの玉村だけだよ。
Kawase-san makes fun of him.
褒めてくれてありがとう。
Tanamura-san sticks his chest out with pride, and Kawase-san sighs. It seems the hospital is going to do something about them. They say that they're about to bury the corpses. We do want to go to the shelter quickly, but due to the circumstances, we decide to help out.
だいぶ暗くなってきたね。
Tanamura-san stops working, looks up and breathes out.
もう今日はよした方がいいかもしれませんね。
Everyone else is digging slower too, and fatigue is becoming apparent. We'll only get more inefficient if we keep working. But Kuwagata-san shakes his head.
あとちょっとだけやりましょうよ。
タクちゃんは偉いやる気だね。
Tanamura-san smiles bitterly. He and Kuwagata-san have snow piled up on their heads and shoulders. I'm sure I look the same. Sasaki-san and the other women headed to the shelter before us. A nearby middle school is the shelter, and I hear that people have gathered and are living together there. So many R's, it's so hard for me to pronounce that sentence, or just say that sentence. Kawase-san wanted to help bury them as well, and after Tanamura-san persuaded her and Sasaki-san chided her, she reluctantly went to the shelter. I didn't want to leave Aroe here, and I thought it was a good idea for them to go ahead and talk to the people there about us. We stayed behind and buried the corpses. I don't know how many hours it's been. We've buried many different kinds of corpses. There are a wide variety of corpses. There are small children, old people, men, and women. There are serene-looking corpses which leave me wondering why they died. And there are brutal-looking corpses which make it obvious how they died. Everyone has gotten used to seeing corpses, so nobody is surprised at the gruesomeness. I don't know. It's not like you see them being dismembered, right? And it's the snow right now, so the corpses are not stinky or anything. Since they're cold, they're preserved. I don't know. I don't think you can say you're used to corpses when they're they're basically in a giant freezer because of the snow. If this was like a humid area, the smell and everything else, it would definitely be a more gruesome experience, I feel. But looking at corpses all the time is depressing. The work continues in silence. Kuwagata-san looks like he's heartbroken, but is vigorous about the work.
まだまだやれますよ。これだけじゃ嫌です。もっと徹底的にやらないと、まるで自己満足のために手伝ってるみたいで気持ち悪いです。
I don't know. Isn't it okay thinking that you're helping them for self-satisfaction, Kuwagata? I'm not gonna go into Subahibi mode again and questioning his motivations about helping people. Like, I don't care. At the end of the day, he's helping people by burying them. Kuwagata-san says this, but we started working before noon and the sun is setting now. We haven't rested at all.
それなら明日やればいいよ。俺はもうクタクタで動けないよ。
Tanamura-san looks at Kuwagata-san's knees, which are trembling from fatigue. It seems he's more worried about Kuwagata-san than himself. But in Kuwagata-san's defense, it's not that he's weak. The trembling in his knees show how hard he has worked. If one wants to talk about being useless, I was the most useless one of all, since my right hand does not have any grip strength. I can't dig the frozen ground, nor support a stretcher. I realized that I couldn't help at all, so I told them about my right hand's disability. It was the first time I had told them about it, but it seems they were vaguely aware of it. Tanamura-san told me not to push myself, even though he's pushing himself by working with his wounded arm. His arm had a chunk of flesh about the size of my pinky blown off. Ew! He had it sterilized and wrapped in bandages, but it should still be painful. However, he's keeping a cool face and he's even caring for Kuwagata-san's fatigue. The hospital staffs are at their limits as well. It's pretty much been decided that they're going home now, but Kuwagata-san is not finished. They have a home in this kind of thing? Really? I thought that the middle school or the hospital was their home. He keeps insisting that we should keep working.
気持ちはわかるけど、俺たちが怪我しちゃったら仕方ないよ。暗くなったら道も見えなくなるしさ。そろそろ潮時だと思うよ。
Tanamura-san persuades Kuwagata-san with a smile.
そうですけど。
Kuwagata-san knows the danger of carrying a heavy stretcher through a barren land in the dark, so he nods reluctantly. We then carry the corpses with dirt and place a piece of concrete there as a gravestone. We've been writing the names of the dead people on the concrete, but there are many fewer names than the actual number of corpses buried. It's because we did not know who most of these people were, and there was nothing that identified them. If we bury the nameless corpses here, nobody will probably even ever figure out that they're buried here. We finish burying them, so we stick an incense stick in the ground and light it. Everyone gives a silent prayer. And when we get up, Kuwagata-san staggers and falls. His tension must have disappeared, leaving the full force of his fatigue. It's dark by the time we return to the hospital. Oh, so I guess it makes sense. They were quite a few blocks away from the hospital to bury the corpses. But how did they carry the corpses? Using stretchers? Stretchers? How many corpses can you carry in one stretcher? Not much. That's so weird. I thought they just bury them right then and there, like somewhere along the hospital. Wait, did I miss something? I think I missed something. The nurses are cooking, and they give us our share of vegetable soup. Everyone who is doing burial work gathers in the corner and starts eating. Everyone had been quiet until now, but conversation starts here. We talk about our circumstances. They're not people who worked at the hospital, but rather students and ordinary company employees. In short, they're victims just like us. They tell us that they've lost their houses and families, and they're living here while helping out with the hospital.
5体満足で生き残ったのも何かの運なんでしょうから。
何もしないでいるとどうしても嫌なことばかり考えてしまうので。
僕が手伝うことで助かる人がいるなら。
They tell us why they work here. We then talk about when the earthquake hit. They listen curiously when we talk about how we lived at the church, like we were on a remote island. After we finish, they talk about how the town was. The people in town were in a panic right after the earthquake. Fires eventually started, burning and killing the survivors. There were many cases where people were trapped in collapsed buildings, and they could do nothing but wait until the screams ceased. The town was overrun by fear and despair. When the night finally ended, the town was flooded. There were many corpses of people who died from the cold laying around the water. They were covered in water and ran out of strength before they found any source of warmth.
とにかく最初の頃は死体ばっかりたくさん見ましたよ。今は雪が積もってしまっているけれど、きっと掘り返せばいくらでも見つかるんじゃないかな。投資したやつは綺麗だからありがたかったですよ。焼死とか足の痛いは本当にひどかった。もう慣れちゃいましたけど。
Wow, being grateful that actually, like, this is what I said before, right? The corpses here actually look at least intact, right? I don't even want to imagine the corpses of people being burned alive or crushed to death. Ew. The man who introduced himself as a college student smiles wryly.
どれくらい亡くなったのかな。何しろアンラッキーだったよ。地震の夜は視界を塞ぐほどの大雪だったし、街も水浸しになってしまったし、あれがなければもっと生存者がいたはずなんだ。ついてないな。
The man who introduced himself as a salesman sighs. We then hear about other things. They tell us about life after the disaster and what public organizations have been doing, but they provide no information that brings any hope. There are no organized countermeasures being taken. Radios and phones aren't working. There's no method to figure out the scope of the damage, nor is there any information coming from outside of the disaster areas. The people here can only manage to survive day by day. The people are isolated in this town, as if we've been completely forgotten by the outside world. Only a small number of people have survived. Most of the people in this town have died. A decent number of people should still be alive considering the size of this town. But nobody really knows how many people are alive. They say that gathering these survivors is a future task. We tell them about how we were attacked by police officers yesterday. They were a bit surprised, but they say that it's nothing unexpected. They say that everyone was in a panic right after the disaster, and there were lots of disputes and fights. Most of the fights started over how goods were distributed, but many other trivial matters became causes of trouble. They say it's only been a few days since a definite leader was decided on. The group started functioning as an organization, and the shelter began to settle down.
全員で協力すればまあ生活するだけなら難しくはなかったんですよ。それは今になったからこそ思うわけですが、最初の頃はとにかくみんな必要以上に怯えていましたからね。そのおまわりさんの話は知りませんけれど、あのまま落ち着くことができなかったらと想像すると、もしかしたらそうなってしまうのかもしれません。
You know, I like this guy's point of view. He doesn't deny that the fact that he might actually become like one of those people that were doing something bad to us before. Like all of them could potentially become, they could easily become something they don't want to, considering how crazy the situation is.
やっぱり他にもそういうおっかない人はいそうなんですかね。
Tanamura-san asks,
いるとは言いたくないですけれど、否定はできませんよね。何もかもめちゃくちゃですから、何一つ確信を持って言えることはないですよ。
he answers disinterestedly. We finish eating and start getting ready to head to the shelter when
助けてください
I hear a scream behind us.
誰か助けてください
I turn around and see a young man standing next to a bed, embracing the girl lying on it. A nurse is standing in front of them with a troubled look.
あんまりわがままを言わないでください。
The nurse tries to persuade him.
わがままなんてひどいもうあなたの言葉なんか聞きたくありませんよ見捨てるって言うんですか誰か他の人お願いします僕の恋人を助けてください
Are you telling me to give up on her? But they're not telling you to give up on her. If you want to do something, shouldn't you do it yourself first instead of asking for help? The man is in a panic and continues to scream. The girl has her eyes closed and is breathing painfully. It seems the nurse can't do anything since the man is threatening her. She just stands there with a troubled look. A
どうしました？
tall man wearing a white robe appears. Wow, someone other than the 6 main characters that have a sprite. This guy's gotta be important.
柿崎先生この人がひどいんです
それは
The man interrupts the nurse who tries to object.
僕の愛がこんなに苦しんでいるのに出す薬はないって助けてくれないってひどいじゃないですか
The man called Kakizaki holds his long unshaven chin and stares at the girl through his glasses.
先生それは
When the nurse starts talking,
彼女に鎮痛剤を与えてあげなさい。彼にも落ち着く薬をあげた方がいい。みんなびっくりしているじゃないか。
the doctor says this and the man bows many times in appreciation.
まあ気にしないで。
Kakizaki waves it off and leaves. The nurse follows after Kakizaki.
でも本人は納得しているんです。ただあの人が騒いでいるだけで。
The nurse is whispering so only the doctor can hear it, but I can hear her. Seeing that everyone around them doesn't seem to notice, I'm the only one who's hearing them.
あと本当に今は何もかも足りなくて。
分かってる。
The doctor keeps walking and answers in a small voice.
生理食塩水でも打っておけ。
Wait, what's that? Physiological saline. Let me check. Sorry. I'm actually interested. Solution of salt that is isotonic with the body fluids. What's it used for? Clean wounds, clear sinuses, and treat dehydration. Okay. Alright.
でもそれは
薬が足りないんだろ。それでいいじゃないか。桜井さんには風邪薬でも飲ませておけばいい。
はい。
もう二度とこんなことで騒ぎを起こさせるな。やりようはいくらでもあるだろう。頭は何のためについているんだ。
Ah, okay, I see. So he's trying to give them, you know, placebo, or I forgot what you call, you know, when you eat like medicine. I think it's called, was it placebo? Might not be. I don't remember. The doctor spits this out and leaves. But yeah, they're not giving her real medicine.
もうお薬もらえるって。よかったね。本当によかった。
I mean, I was looking at the guy's face and I'm like, wow, this guy's actually kinder than he looks, but of course not. The man keeps whispering to the girl who's on the bed. The middle school that's the emergency shelter is only about 30 minutes away from the hospital, even if we walk carefully. We reach the school and see that there's a desk under a canopy by the school gate. There's a young woman there, filling out a document. The people we walk with from the hospital tell us that it's the administration office, and that we need to go through a simple procedure if we are to live here.
あれ、すごく明るいですね。
Behind the school building are the brightly shining windows of the gym. The woman tells us that the school's electrical power facility has been restored. I guess the people who are knowledgeable about electricity fixed the wiring.
こう明るいとなんだか感動するな。
It still looks dark here though, I don't know. Tanamura-san stares at the light and narrows his eyes as if he's blinded.
そうでしょう。昨日初めて光がついた時は、やっぱりみんな感動してしまって、泣いてる人もいたんだよ。
The salesman looks proud. The administrator hands us registers, so we fill in our name, age, occupation, and any chronic diseases. The left side of the register has serial numbers, and my name is next to the number 547.
ここには500人以上もいるんですか？
I ask.
他の場所へ行ってしまった人なんかも入ってますんで、実際には300人程度だと思います。出入りが多くて、ちょっと正確にはわかりませんが。
It's a lot larger than I thought. The woman at the desk runs her eyes over the documents we filled out.
学生さんなんですね。
はい。
それなら、
She smiles.
もしよかったら運営部に入るのを検討してみてくださいよ。若くて怪我もない人はとても大事なんです。メンバーは同じくらいの年頃の学生ばっかりですし、きっと楽しいですよ。みんなのために一緒に頑張ってみませんか？きっと避難所での空虚な毎日が充実したものになると思います。
Oh my god, this sounds like manipulation if I've ever heard one. I don't know her intent, but the way she worded this is for sure manipulation. Holy shit. Hell no am I gonna help you guys.
まあそれは後で考えるね。俺たちまだここに来たばっかりだからさ。
See, it even made Tanamura-san like uncomfortable. What the fuck? Tanamura-san smiles bitterly.
なんだかサークルの勧誘と自衛隊の募集を混ぜたみたいな誘い文句でしたね。
Kinda. Kuwagata-san comments after the registration. The area is filled with artificial light. The gym has become a residence for all the refugees. There are plastic sheets on the broken windows to block out the wind, and stoves are set up everywhere to keep the place warm. It smells like ordinary life. There are many people here. It looks disorderly since people are using cardboard boxes as screens and as borders for their spaces. It's a bad example, but it feels like I've wandered into a town of homeless people. But in reality, I'm sure a lot of people have lost their homes. We look for Sasaki-san and the others, and we manage to find them quickly because we hear Aroe's loud voice. They've unpacked in a corner of the gym. They have towels, and they tell us that they were about to go take a bath. There are natural hot springs in town, and it seems a few of them are still intact. They say that the refugees have been using them often.
湯船に浸かれるんですよ。しかも温泉。
Sasaki-san sounds happy.
みんな一緒に行きましょうよ。皆さん、顔がすごい疲れてますよ。
We look at each other. Now that she mentions it, we do look tired.
ほら、さっさと支度しなよ。置いてっちゃうよ。
Wait, we're actually gonna take a bath together? I mean, I guess this one makes sense, you know, when you don't really know, like there's no need to put limitations on women and men during these times of crisis. Kawase-san urges us, so we decide to go with them. I'm probably gonna have to edit it out though if they show some naked bodies. It's the hot spring of an expensive hotel that I would normally not have been able to afford. It must have been a refined and elegant building, but now it's only a pile of rubble with snow piled on it. Since the hotel is gone now, we decided to use this hot spring. The large outdoor bath constructed from natural terrain is filled with steam and the smell of sulfur. I put my hand in the water. Even though it's out in the snow, it's moderately warm. I think it's a good temperature. I look around, but I don't see any corpses. Oh, Tsukasa, holy shit. That's really the thing that you try to look for?
うわー、気持ちよさそう。
Probably gonna skip this scene, guys, so maybe see you guys in a minute. Kawase-san looks at the hot spring as if she's about to drool.
あなた、お風呂苦手じゃなかったの？
Sasaki-san forces a smile.
うん。私をバカにしてもらっちゃ困るな。一人じゃなければ平気なのさ。
Kawase-san must be trying to act tough, but what she said isn't really that convincing.
それより入ろうよ。ここに立ってたら凍えちゃう。
Tanamura-san interrupts.
そうだね。早速入るかな。温泉の匂い嗅いだら、私なんか元気になってきたんだよね。なんかそういう成分とかあるのかな。
Kawase-san feels the water with her fingers and smells it.
よーし、入ろう。みんなで混浴しよう。裸の付き合いで絆を深めようじゃないか。
裸の付き合い
Kwagata-san mutters.
エロい。二人ともエロい顔してる。つうか田村バカじゃないの？
Tanamura-san shakes his finger sideways.
心外だな。そんなんじゃないよ。だって別々に入ると待ってる方が湯冷めしちゃうでしょ。そしたら風邪ひいちゃうし、風邪はまずいよ。それにさ、これからも一緒に仲良くやっていかないといけないんだよ。お互いをもっとよく知っておきたいじゃないか。そこで混浴ってわけさ。まあ、なんて合理的かつ妥当で、そして楽しい結論なんでしょう。素晴らしいじゃないか。
He makes a very good argument, you know.
あんたらのことなんかこれ以上知りたくないわよ。だいたい楽しくなんかないよ。
Kawase-san looks at Tanamura-san with disgust.
楽しいよ。きっと楽しいよ。
バカじゃないの？混浴なんかしてバカが映ったらどうするの？
そんなの気にしなくっていいじゃん。俺は気にしないからさ。
This guy.
無理無理。順番こで入ろう。ほら、出て行きなさいよ。
へえ、やだよ。俺もお風呂入りたい。
バカ！何上着のチャック開け始めてるの？ん？
照れなくたっていいんだよ。
意味わからん。
Tanamura-san keeps taking his coat off. He takes off his sweater as well, and he's now in his t-shirt.
やめなさいって。
Kawase-san is blushing.
もうここまで来たら仕方ないよ。ほら、みんなも何してるのよ。ぼーっと突っ立ってたら風邪ひいちゃうよ。一緒に脱ごうよ。
バカ！アホ！何考えてるのよ！うわあ、ゆかち！なんでそっち逃げてるの？一人にしないでよ、バカ！
Tanamura-san looks like he's having fun.
バカ！変態！
Kawase-san runs off too. Tanamura-san smiles.
ごめんごめん。冗談だって。怒んないで。わかってるよ。俺たちこっちの端の方に入るからさ。女の子たちはそっちに入りなよ。そうすればお互い見えないよ。
Yeah, exactly what my thought was when he, when he said we were gonna take a bath together. He calls out in his usual manner.
はーい！
Sasaki-san replies.
バカ！変態！死ね！
Kawase-san calls him names from behind cover. Tanamura-san smiles bitterly and starts to take off his pants when he notices that Aroe, who has been left behind, is watching him and smiling.
アロエちゃんは俺たちと一緒にお風呂に入る？
Tanamura-san asks.
アロエはお風呂に入ります。
Oh god, Aroe.
お、アロエちゃん話がわかるね。
I really don't know how I feel about Aroe, dude.
バカ！アロエを返せ！
Kawase-san yells from behind cover. I don't know how Tsukasa actually feels about Aroe, really. Oh, baby. Time for some male bonding. My body, which has been tense from the cold and fatigue, slowly loosens up in the warm water. It feels like my fatigue is seeping out of my body. Hanamura-san dives under the water a few times, then leans against a rock and looks up, catching the snow with his face. Kuwagata-san wipes his face and neck many, many times and keeps sighing as if to exhale his soul. I open and close my right hand in the water.
温泉手の怪我にいいかもね。
Hanamura-san is staring at my right hand.
ええ、だから僕この町の大学選んだんですよ。
僕もです。どうせ一人暮らしするなら温泉とかあったら暇な時に入れたりしていいかなって思って。温泉街の大学なんて珍しいし風情がありますよね。
そんなもんなのかね。生まれてからずっとここに住んでるからいまいち温泉のありがたみってのがないけど。
贅沢ですよ。普通の人は旅行で泊まりに来るじゃないですか。
ここはそんなに観光客が来る街でもないけどね。有名じゃないし。でもまあ確かに外の人とかみんな嬉しそうだよね、温泉っていうと。
そうですよ。湯治って言葉もあるくらいですし、ほら田野村さんのその怪我にも良いんじゃないですか。
そうだね。もう治っちゃったかもしれない。温泉パワーでさ。
Hanamura-san jokes around and moves his hand.
極楽じゃ。
Kawase-san is exclaiming from their side as well. Hanamura-san smiles.
それより婚約できなくて残念だったな。
あれやっぱり本気だったんですか。
Kuwagata-san asks. Hanamura-san nods with a serious expression.
田野さんは本当すごいな。
何が？
こんな時にそんな余裕があるなんて。
何言ってんの。こんな時だから性欲が強くなるんだよ。そういうものなんだよ。俺なんか人がいなくなるとすぐにオナニーしちゃってるよ。
Hanamura, why are you so perfect? Stop being so good. What kind of character are you? You're like too good. He smiles broadly despite what he's talking about.
たっちゃんだって何にも処理しないでずっと平気ってことはないでしょ。
そりゃ何にもってことはないですけど。
そうだよね。つかちゃんは？
僕はマスターベーションはあまり好きではないです。
Bruh. I mean, just a couple of days ago, you actually did have sex with Sasaki or Yuka.
そうか。普通なら信じないけど、つかちゃんはそんな感じもするかな。でも、女の子たちはどうしてるんだろうね。
女性がそんな。
Kuwagata, come on. There are some girls who are horny too.
いやいや、女の子の性欲ってすっごいんだよ。
そういえば、あれは時々パンツに手を入れて触ってます、ね。
Bro, what the fuck? Really?
なんかそれはちょっと違うな。
Hanamura-san makes a sour face.
そうですね。
こうもっとファンタジーがあるのがいいよ。隠したい。でもどうしようもなくしたいわってシチュエーションじゃないと。それをこっそり覗き見するっていうのかな。
Are
それ
we
ってとても素敵なことじゃない？
Are we really in a natural disaster right now? I mean, we do need to let off some steam sometimes.
素敵ではないですよ。覗きって犯罪じゃないですか。
そうだね。それにしても極楽だな。体が疲れてる時のお風呂と寒い日のお風呂は格別だけど、それが両方いっぺんなんだもの。そりゃ気持ちいいよね。地震が起きてから今日までずっと溜まってた疲れが一気になくなっていくよ。あ、そうだ、酒飲まない？俺持ってきたんだよね。ほら、この酒いいやつでしょ。見てごらんよ。雪がこうハラハラっと降ってるよね。これをさ、温泉に浸かりながら眺めてさ、一口。廃墟って言ってもこんなに厚く雪が積もってしまうとなんだか天然自然の風景みたいじゃないか。酒のつまみとしては悪かないよ。ほら、お酒おいしいよ。飲みなよ、たっちゃん。
Where did you get the sake? I don't think they would give out sake in the shelter. Maybe he brought some from when we were still at the church. you know, we did still have a lot of supplies back there.
コップはないんですか？そうですか。じゃあこのままいただきます。でもなんだかもったいないですよね。こんな高い酒を一升瓶からラッパーで飲むなんて。美味しいな。美味しいです。酒って不思議なものです。胸の中がすっきりとします。気持ちいいな。でもこういうのってやっぱり変だな。おかしいな。だっていくら雪が隠してくれても街は未だに地獄のようなありさまですし、何にも解決してないんですよ。それなのにこの異常な世界の片隅でちっぽけなお湯の中にちょっとばかり使って、そうしてアルコールを飲んだならもうそれだけで気持ちよくなってしまうなんて大丈夫かなって思います。いいのかなって思います。どうにも自分のその安易なところが好きになれませんよ。
I don't know, I agree with you, Kuwagata.
気にしなくったっていいよ。俺たちは明日からもここで頑張らなくちゃいけないし、頑張るためにはそれを支えていくための遊びだって必要だもの。だいたい第一楽しいって言ったってこんなことで何もかも忘れてしまうわけでもないんですさ。表面の薄皮一枚、いくら楽しんだって喜んだってそりゃ実のない楽しみだもの。もっと飲もうよ。死んだ人だって草葉の陰から怒らないどころか同情してるかもしれないよ。そんな悲惨なところで生きるのって大変だね。俺たちは死んでよかったってさ。あ、なんか失礼なこと言っちゃったでもここで生きて頑張ってるみんなはすごいよ。そう思うよ。ほら、つかちゃんも飲みなよ。
はい、いただきます。しかし2人とも飲みすぎじゃないですか？
ああ、ほんと僕はちょっとクラクラします。ダメだな。
いや、俺はあったかいからよく回ってるだけだよ。平気だよ。
そうですか。まあいいでしょう。たまにはそういうのもいいかもしれませんね。なるほど。これ本当に美味しいですね。よく冷えてます。彼女たちにもあげた方がいいんじゃないでしょうか？
いいよいいよ、あんなケチたちにお酒なんかあげなくて。どうしても飲みたいならおっぱいくらい見せてくれたらいいんだ。俺は常々思ってるんだけど、女性が肌を隠すのは犯罪だよね。花の命は短いって言うでしょ。儚いものを隠すなんて良くないよね。
僕は儚いからこそ隠すのは美しいと思いますよ。
タクちゃんはロマンチックだね。俺はもっとブリバリ見ていきたいのさ。誰もの国見ないままに人知れずしおれてしまうおっぱいについて涙を流した夜はないかい？
No.
何言ってるのよバカ。
Okay, they're clothed, or they use a towel, thank God. I turn around at the voice and see Kawase-san's face above the rock behind me.
ちょっと待って、見ないで。
Kuwagata-san splashes around in panic.
こらこら、覗きだなんて警察呼んじゃうよ。つうかさっきはあんなに照れてたのにどうしたのさ。
あれはびっくりしただけよ。つうか、おいしいおいしいって声が聞こえたわよ。何隠してるのよ。食べ物の話されたら黙っちゃいられないよ。
Kawase-san smiles without showing signs of being agitated.
またまた、本当は見たいんだよね。見たいなら見たいって言えばいいのに、エロいんだから。その代わりひばりちゃんもおっぱい見せてよ。
黙れ酔っ払い。
つうかさ、なんで逆パターンなの？普通こういう時は男が女を覗くんじゃないの？覗かせてよ。
Tanomura-san looks dissatisfied.
知るか。とにかく私に隠してお酒を飲もうだなんて、あんたら本当にいい性格してるよ。しかしここで吸ったが100年目。ほら早く渡しなさいよ。酒よこせよ、ほら。
ひばり、そんなところに裸で登ってん。
I hear Sasaki-san's voice.
そんな大胆なことするならケチケチしないで見せてくれればいいのに。お兄さん興奮しちゃうよ。
タオルをちゃんと巻いてるもん。ゆかっちも余計なこと言わないで。で、ほら渡しなさいよ、つかさ。
どうぞ。
素直なのはいいけど、あんたちょっとは前隠しなさいよね。
すみません。
まったく、そんなもので私のゆかっちを。
Bruh.
川瀬さん、今なんて言いました？
I hope this doesn't cause discord amongst the group. Oh no.
クワガタ聞きたいの？ちょっと君には刺激が強すぎるかな。
Kwagata-san shows his shock and stammers.
あのね、ゆかっちったらさ、
Kawase-san's face disappears below, and I hear a splashing sound.
何言ってるのよひばり。もう
Sasaki-san is yelling.
そんなに怒らなくたっていいじゃん。別に子供じゃないんだし。
そういう問題じゃないでしょう。
あれ何なのつかちゃん。
Oh no, Tanomura-san whispers and asks me.
人に話すようなことでもないんですが、
I try to tell him,
司くん、
and realize that Kuwagata-san is intently staring at me. Oh no!
それよりゆかっち、ほら、あの絵がお風呂から出ようとしてるよ。
I hear Kawase-san's voice from the other side of the rock.
ごまかそうとしないで。
いや、ほんとだって、ほら、あの絵、ちょっと
本当なの？
嘘なんか言わないよ。そっち行っちゃダメだって。危ない。
Kawase-san's voice turns serious, so Tanomura-san stands up and wraps a towel around his waist. His cheeks are red. Are you serious?
俺たちの出番だ。
あ、はい。
Aroe, why? He grabs my arm, so I also wrap a towel around my waist.
川瀬さん、あれはどっちですか？
I go around the rock and ask Kawase-san.
つかさ、あの絵はあそこに。ほら、なんか走ってる。
She's naked, right? Oh my god. Kawase-san points.
本当だ。笑いながら雪の上を走っています。なんでだろう。
知らないわよ。
そうですね。
さっさと追いかけなさいよ。まったくもうバカなんだから。
ねえひばり、
何？
あなた裸よ。
ほんとだ。ゆかっち、そのタオル貸して。
ダメよ、私のなんだから。引っ張らないで、取れる。
でもほら、田野村、何見てるのよ。さっさといつにあの絵追いかけなさいよ。
ひばり、引っ張るのやめてよ。もう取れちゃうから。あなたは我慢しなさい。減るもんじゃないんでしょね。
私のは減るの。
なんで減るの？
お嬢さん方、喧嘩はいけないな。俺のタオルを貸してあげよう。
This is so stupid.
さあ遠慮なく受け取りたまえ。君たちの友情のためなら俺は裸になったって構やしないさ。
Oh my god, you're such a best boy right now, Tanomura.
そんなとこに巻いてたのをかっこつけて差し出しながらにじり寄るな、バカ。ラッキー、ゆかっちが顔を押さえたからタオルが私のものになった。
返して。
嫌だよ。クワガタ、お前は立ち止まってこっちを見るな。ほら、あっち行け。
はい。
アロエ、追いかけっこじゃないんだから止まりなよ。怪我するよ。
What?
あ、それはオッフェンバック作曲の天国と地獄序曲だね。
My god, Tsukasa! How can you hear that from that humming? I mean, I kinda hear it, but at the same time, you know, it's a bit off tune.
ほら掴んだ。ああ、肌に石鹸がついているものだからぬるっと滑って取り逃がしてしまった。
Why are you humming this anyway, Aroe?
困ったな。追いかけられることに喜んでいるみたいだ。かといって追いかけなければ近寄ってくるというわけでもないし、アロエの体はヌルヌルとしていて、ちょっと触れたり掴んだりしただけでは滑ってしまう。しかしこのままじゃ きっと彼女は怪我をしてしまうだろう。いくら僕でも公衆の面前でその恋は気が引けるのだけれど、ここはやはり抱きしめて止めるしか。よし、迷ってはいられない。
うわあ、追いついた塚ちゃんがアロエちゃんを押し倒したぞ。裸のままもつれ合う。
浜子さん、ゆかっちが倒れた。
おお、泡だらけの体でなおも逃げようとするアロエちゃん。それを全身を使って止めようとしている塚ちゃん。二人の裸体は石鹸にまみれてぬるぬると。
This is not a serious situation at all. Come on, man.
すごい光景だ。
クワガタ、前かがみになって変なとこを押さえるな。
笑いながら抵抗するアロエ。無表情にそれを追い詰めにかかる司。雪の上で絡み合う二人。この先どうなってしまうのか。わあ、どうなってしまうんだろうね。どう思うよ。
ニヤニヤ笑いながら実況してないでお前がなんかしろよバカ。酔っ払い。
お、こっちはこっちで裸の川瀬ひばりが裸の佐々木優香を抱きかかえているね。絶景。なんだかまるで天国みたいだな。
見るな。私は地獄に落ちたみたいよ。
やだな。もう俺らとっくの昔から地獄にいるじゃないか。ここが地獄じゃないなんて誰にも言わせないさ。
なんでいきなりそんなこと言うの。
じゃあおっぱい触っていい？
言葉の意味がわからん。
じゃあ実演で教えてあげよう。
近寄るな。
蹴られた彼女が鼻血を出しながら湯船に沈んでいく。気絶してるくせにすごくいい表情だ。一方向こうではアロエちゃんが司くんに抱きつかれたまま嬉しそうに笑って司くんに抱きつき返しています。なんて羨ましい。
This is such a stupid chapter. I guess this is like a moment of respite chapter. I mean, to be fair, they do kinda need this kind of respite. They've been on edge for quite a bit.
ほらアロエ、落ち着くんだ。そんなとこ掴んじゃダメだって。
掴んじゃダメだって。
だからダメですって。ダメです。こら、お姉さんが見たら泣くよ。
すごすぎる。すいません。ちょっと僕席外しますね。
どこ行くのよ。何するのよ。
いや別に。
Oh my god, Kuwagata!
もういや。
極楽だな。
家に帰って眠りたいよ。もうやだ。助けてよ。
That soundtrack, though. Alright, exactly what I thought. Next scene. But that is enough of that for now. I think that's a good part to end the episode. Yeah, 2 scenes every episode for Swan Song has been really doing good for me. So this is pretty nice. I've been enjoying it. Yeah, it looks like I took a 2-day break. Or 1 day. But thank you all for watching. The story... I definitely like this story. I don't know, the comedy in this game just flows naturally, unlike the comedy in Subahibi. For people that wanna compare, like, why I was so mad at Subahibi during the first chapter. I don't know. I guess the characters are easily likable on this one. But yeah, I don't really have much to say. I'll see you guys in the next one.